Yo, what's up everybody? How you doing? This is your coach Renz, teaching you the 360 degrees of you. Now I'm going to tell you this right now. This video, you were given two of the most powerful things in the universe. You were given your mind that lets you think, and you was given a heart that lets you have emotions. And if you don't maintain control of those two, you destined for failure. Your performance in life will end in failure. I gotta say that over these last couple of days with the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, I've seen an uprising in the fact that people are so focused on conspiracies. You know everything about the conspiracy. You know everything about the Illuminati, everything about the Bilderbergs, everything about the politicians, the family, everything about the Masonic order. You know everything about every secret society. Or you're just blasé about your religious indoctrination, blasé about your cultural indoctrination. You're following the wave of whatever the media says, or whatever somebody from a pulpit says, or whatever somebody that you find to be your expert on Facebook and YouTube says, that you just moving along with the current flow. If you're one of those people where all you got is conspiracies, all you got is secret organizations, all you got is just this negative flow of energy for everything that happens, then you, sir, ma'am, you are weak, you are asleep, you are nothing but a sheep, and you are meant to go to the slaughter. Meant to go. You know, cattle, livestock, they don't understand the matrix of the slaughterhouse. So they just go willingly. They just keep moving willingly. And they will never know. They don't have the cognitive mindset to ever figure out what's going on. They have emotional moments. They have emotional moments where they start to realize what's going on. You know, the book, The Alchemist says that as long as you don't thin out the herd too quickly, as long as you don't spook the sheep by shearing and slaughtering too many of them too quickly, the rest of the sheep will simply eat and drink whatever the shepherd gives them. Whatever the shepherd gives them. So as long as the Illuminati, the Masons, the Bilderbergs, all these groups, as long as the politicians, the government, as long as the police, as long as the church, as long as your ability to escape through social media don't thin your herd out too much, too quickly, too rapidly, don't slaughter you too fast, then you'll just keep eating. You'll just keep drinking. Wherever these shepherds are taking you, that's all you'll keep doing. But yet, you were given the most powerful thing in the universe. The ability to think, to logically think, to put things together and come to a resolution, to emotionalize and feel the energy of a situation, of a program, of a group, of a person, and yet you don't use it. So, but before we go too far, it's midday for me, which means that it's midday meditation time. So I want you to do this with me. Midday meditation. You're going to concentrate on squeezing the area from between your vaginal or penile area to your anus. Squeeze that area, the Kegel area. Squeeze that area up to your lower abdomen as you take a breath in. As you take that breath in, hold that breath. See that breath moving up your spinal column into your third eye, into your brain. And then release with a long breath. We're gonna do six breaths. In the morning I do 3. In the midday 6. And at night I do 9. So that's the breath. That's the code. That's the cheat code of getting your life started. That's the cheat code of allowing for the serotonins and allowing for DMT to be released into your brain naturally, that allows you to have vision, that allows you to have happiness, that allows you to have joy. Because I'm telling you, you're waking up and you got so much negativity flowing into your mind. every day. That your eye gates, your two eyes, have splinters all in them. And you go throughout your day that way. So let's take a midday meditation right in the middle of this video. So we're gonna do this. Do this with me. So breathe in, hold, see the flow of air going up into your brain. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. Don't you feel at peace? Don't you feel better? Don't you feel like your mind is now a little bit more open to receiving, and your mind is open for downloading from the universe? You see, let me tell you, one of the things I downloaded from the universe 20 years ago was a formula. It was a formula that came to me in a meditation sequence at the Chattahoochee River while I was sitting on a rock. And that formula was C plus B squared equals infinite G. C plus B squared equals infinite G. What that means is your capacity. C represents capacity. The capacity is you, your sphere of influence right now, what you're able to handle, what you have in your life, everything about you in your life, all your people, all your friends, all your money, all your job, your entire situation. What is your capacity of influence right now? That's your C. Your B squared is a balance between in your life, a balance between your mind and your heart, your thoughts and your emotions, a balance between your work and your pleasure, a balance between your eating and your energy that you release, a balance in life, in every aspect of life, going to multiple dimensional planes of balance. Now, when you got capacity plus B squared, a balanced life, then you will fulfill your capacity. I say that I'm a 360-degree performance coach for a reason. The reason why I say 360 degrees, the capacity of your life is a circle. Now, once you feel that capacity, because it's cut up in different pies, you have your financial pie, you have your relationship pie, you have your work pie, you have your leisure pie, you have so many different pies, your learning pies. And when you feel the capacity of your current sphere of influence, your friends, your family, the love, all those things, and everything is balanced on multiple levels, then that equals infinite G. Infinity growth. Infinite growth. That means that once your capacity is completely filled, then a new sphere of influence opens up for you. A new opportunity, a new dimensional plane. All these things open up for you. I believe that our existence on this planet right now, in this third dimensional plane, fourth dimensional plane, whatever you want to call it, that when we actually find balance and fulfill that whole capacity, that's when we enter samadhi. That's when we enter heaven. That's when we enter the Christ mind. That's when we enter the Buddha head. That's when we come to enlightenment. We move from being slaves to being masters to adepts. That's when we move up. That's when we move up in consciousness. I don't believe we start at a high level as the Buddhist and then came down to this level to satisfy your dharma, to go back up to that level. No. I believe we started at a lower level. We started at a lower level and we're constantly moving up, moving up, moving up, moving up. The more we fulfill that capacity with balance, then we move up. We go to infinite G. And that infinity continues on and on and on and on. Not just this life on this plane, but this life on the next plane, on the next plane, on the next plane. Infinite G. That there is no space that we will ever be able to complete because we are not the creators of this universe. Therefore, there is a point that there is no point that we don't stop growing. just as you can keep growing here. And I say that because as I see these people filled with conspiracies, every moment of every day something happens and it's a conspiracy. Kobe Bryant was murdered because the Illuminati, or look at the numbers, or LeBron just passed him so he has something to do with it. There's always a conspiracy. Now, are there some truths to some of these things? Are there some truths to the conspiracies around JFK, the conspiracies around Martin Luther King, the conspiracies around Malcolm X? Are there some truth to the conspiracies of vaccination, the conspiracies of breaking up the black family, the conspiracies of incarceration of black men? Are there truth to these things? Yes. Are there aspects of it that that larger people who own corporations, people who run government, is there truth to the Rothschilds and how they're looking to control the financial movement of money around the world? Sure, there's proof of that and there's truth to it. But it's everything that happens, this long streaming conspiracy that you have no power over. You see, that's the part of the conspiracies that drives you into a lower level. Is that there's no power. You have no power over it. You can talk about it. You can say it's the Illuminati. Look how they're holding their hands. They're holding their hands in the symbol of the Illuminati. Look how they're holding their hands. They're doing the symbols. You can talk about it. You can know everything. You can know all the different aspects of it. I told people a long time ago, as a Mason, you can go and get the book, the first book that most Masons read, they should read. You can go and buy that book. Anybody. You can read about the rituals. You can read about most of those things. Are there deeper lessons within that book that you don't get unless you're present? Sure, there are. Are there deeper levels that go beyond what you can see in that book? Yes, there are. Will you be privy to it if you're not a member of it? No, you're not. Will some people who even are members of it be privy to it? No, they will not. They haven't shown suitable proficiency. They will not know the higher levels nor the deeper levels. This is true. So are there things going on that are beyond what the average person knows? Yes. Are there things going on beyond what the conspiracy theorist knows? Yes. But the problem is the conspiracy theorist allows for what they don't know and what they think they know and what they do know to control their lives to the point where they don't use their mind, their ability to think. If you have the ability to dive so deep into the Illuminati and the Bilderbergs, to know the names, to know the places, to know the policies, to know all these things that they have done, but yet you're not rearranging the matrix of what they have done to suit your growth or the growth of those around you, because you have no balance in it, then you, my friend, sir, ma'am, are weak. Completely weak. Weak in mind, weak in heart. You're weak mentally in thought. You're weak emotionally in thought. You are ran by your emotions. Your emotions are controlling you. Your mindset of what they want you to do and be is controlling you. They love you. They love you. They love that you are out here speaking about them and doing nothing. Nothing to show any level of proficiency of rearranging the matrix that they have created, even if you just do it for yourself. Because when people look at you, yeah, you know, it's the Illuminati. They came and they got membership and they infiltrated and now they're controlling the government. That's why we got all these wars going on, because the Illuminati, it's all about follow the money back and you'll get to it. You know, the Illuminati, you know. That's what you're saying. And as long as you just keep saying that, you just keep scapegoating. You know, the reason why I don't have the life that I have, you know, I've been able to inch out a piece of life, but the reason why I don't have all my life is because, you know, the Bilderberg Group, you know, they go down and they make these world-changing policies, and then all I can do is try to scratch out a piece of life for myself. And, you know, but what can we do? You know, I'm just a regular man. Yeah, what? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're not being beneficial. You're not changing your own paradigm so that you can say that, yeah, you know what? I understand that the Rothschilds, they control the movement of money. They control the interest rate in America through the Federal Reserve. I get it. I understand that. But now, if I understand that, how can I utilize that to my benefit? How can I utilize that to my benefit? First of all, they put America on an IOU. They put America in a debt situation and off the gold standard. Now, being in an IOU situation, that means that the more debt I get into, the more control they have over me. So let me control my debt. Let me not get too deep in debt. Learn how to use credit like rich people use credit. Utilizing my credit in order to facilitate a return on that investment. If I'm going to go get a loan for something, let me go get a loan for something that's going to make me money, and I can worry about the things that I buy that don't make me money later by utilizing the money that's making money for me. You know, if I send my money out, this is Richest Man in Babylon information. If I send my money out and it returns with captives of more money, let me retrain the captive money and send all of them back out to capture more and bring it back until I have a river of money that I don't need to be concerned about what I buy over here, because I got more money coming in than I can spend. Now the interest rate that they're controlling doesn't affect me as much. I'm going to buy land and property. I'm going to buy as much land and property, and yes, I got to pay taxes on it every year, so I don't ever actually own the property, but I pay, as long as I pay the taxes, play the game, because I got a mind that tells me how to play the game and I'm not emotionalizing everything to the point where I'm losing myself in it. Let me play this game so that I'm buying properties, I'm making sure the taxes are paid so that I can will this property to my next generation. And matter of fact, let me teach that next generation how to do exactly what I did, so that in 200 years, my name is spoken of as a conspiracy theory. That I become the conspiracy. You know, Lorenzo Reed, he was inducted into the Masons. Then he was inducted in the Marine Corps. He got inducted into the family. When he continued to grow his business, he became a member of the Bilderbergs. You know, he's part of that organization, those people. He's the Black Godfather. He's in the Black Mafia. He's in one of those organizations where that's why his family became what they became. No, he became that because he decided to use his mind and to pass those lessons down to generation to generation to generation, because he studied the Rothschilds and saw what they did and how they built themselves, how Mayer Rothschild built the Rothschild family, and he said, let me model what has been successful in this matrix so that I can control more of this matrix, especially his personal matrix, instead of being the conspiracy theorist who just sits there and says things, and show no ability to change things. Instead of being the one that just want to find negative things. Oh, you know, we Hebrew Israelite, we native to America, we from Africa. But yet, what are you doing? What are you doing to promote black people, melanated people, from coming off and under the rungs of the oppressor? You see, you think you woke, but you sleep. You think you woke, but you're asleep. You're asleep because you may know, this person, I got a picture that shows how Pharrell looks like this Native American. You think that black people who was here, who came through from the transatlantic slave trade in the 14, 15, 16, 1700s, because photography wasn't around back then, you think that they didn't escape? You think that they didn't merge with the native tribes? You think slaves from Georgia and Alabama, Mississippi weren't escaping and joining with the Seminole Indians and merged with them, or with the Cherokee Indians, or with the Sioux, or any of these these people who were here? You don't think that the intermixing of the black African with the people who were here, that you don't think that would cause their genetic code to start looking darker? Of course it would. Now, were they darker anyway? Since they came from East Africa into China, across the Bering Straits into America, and then the Zai people came and 16,000 years later and looking for these people. You don't think they intermixed? Those Chinese people who had now adapted to a lighter melanation had adapted to that and came and merged with these people, which is why West Coast Native Americans were lighter than East Coast Native Americans. You don't think that happened, which is why the Caribbean natives were much, much darker. You don't think that happened? Of course. Yes, they were darker. They were melanated. But you can know all this. I can know all this. We could talk and argue. We could talk and argue. We could say we're a Hebrew Israelite. that we're the lost tribe of Judah or whomever else. We can argue about that all day. You can take the book that oppressed your people and try to take the same book and oppress the people, the oppressor, and what are you doing with it? You stand on a street corner yelling, but what are you doing with it? Now, I do give props to some of the Hebrew Israelite organizations that are bringing brothers off the street, getting them off drugs, getting them into taking care of their families, doing things of that nature. I give props to anybody who's yelling out, screaming about, hey, we all native to America and we're going to establish property here. We're going to establish unity here. We're going to build. We're building. No, we're going to. We buying houses. We buying plazas. We're building business and we're supporting those businesses. I will give props to you if you're doing that. You can yell and scream that all day, but if you're not doing anything, if all you're doing is yelling and screaming, if all you do is stand on the street corner and tell white people that we're going to rape you, murder you, we're going to be able to kill you, steal your children, if that's all you're doing, and you're saying you're doing it in the name of God, Yahweh, Elohim, if you're strapping on a jacket and killing people in the name of your God, you sleep. You sleep. You're not waking anybody up. You're not waking anybody up. You can't. You're inception. You're a dream within a dream. And a dream within a dream within a dream. That's all you are. That's all you're doing. Because until you wake up, because if you saw that movie at the end, the dreidel, the top kept spinning and we never saw if it fell. We never knew if he was in the real world or was he still in limbo. Which is to say that to you. That if all you're doing is just screaming out information, not making any changes, not doing anything different in your life, not creating for anything or anybody, then you are not fulfilling your capacity. You're out of balance. You're reaching for something. I want you to think about a wheel. Then this happened to me yesterday. So, yesterday I had a flat tire. I was only like a quarter mile away from the place where I would get a new tire. But this Tahoe is very heavy. So I thought I could drive it the quarter mile. In driving it to the quarter mile, it developed a notch in it. So when the guy did come and try to fill it with capacity, once we realized where the nail was, and he said, well, let me put air in it. Let me fill the tire to capacity. The knot didn't come out. All you had was the knot in the tire. So it wasn't usable. Your life is like that. You're reaching for something. You're trying to do something without being filled with capacity of air, not being filled with capacity of mind, not capacity of spirit, not capacity of emotion, not filled to the capacity where it is balanced throughout the entire tire, it is balanced throughout your entire life, and you're reaching for something to expand yourself, but yet when you do, you created a knot, and that knot is like a wheel that turns, and every time it hits the ground, boom, it bumps. Boom, it bumps. It bumps. It bumps. It bumps. It bumps. Your ride is not smooth. Your ride doesn't manifest anything. Your ride doesn't get you where you need to go. Your ride is always filled with turmoil. Your ride is always filled with problems. Your ride is always filled with trouble. And that's because your capacity has not been filled with a balance of life. You don't have a balance of spirit. You don't have a balance of mind. You don't have a balance of emotion. You don't even have a balance of knowledge. You just have what makes you feel good because you like to spew out your negativity and think that you're bringing in positivity. But that's not what's happening. That's not what's going on. I see this constantly with people. I see the people who sit up there. I see women who say there are no good black men. Really? No good black men. Every black man is a criminal. Every black man is shiftless. Every black man just popping babies. The same way I see black men say that every black woman, this whole generation, all they know how to do is twerk. All they know how to do is show their butt. Really? Every black woman? Everyone? I got 3 daughters. Ain't neither one of them out there twerking nor showing their butt. Every black woman? Black people don't do this. Black people can't support that. Black people don't support each other. Really? Every black person? Damn, how does any black business stay in business in a black neighborhood? Business, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can continuously think of multiples that's been around for years, some for decades. But they're still there. Really? Really? You sleep. You sleep. Constantly sleep. Every white person is racist? Sure, there's a lot of racist white people. Every white person is racist. Everything a white person says is racist. Anytime a white person does something, it's racist. Come on, man. It doesn't work that way. You sleep. You sleep. You sleep in a dream where you love being the victim. You sleep in a dream where being the victim makes you happy. Because you find happiness in your misery. You find happiness in your discomfort. You find happiness in your pain. It's kind of like the person who continuously hurts themselves, continuously try to kill themselves, because every time they do it, people run to them. And they internalize that as love, not realizing that those people are starting to not like them, starting to find discontent with them. That's you. If all you can do is come on to Facebook, YouTube, and just spew out your negativity with nothing to move people forward, with no plan of attack, then you are asleep. And as for those who are sheep, deserving to go to the slaughter, you go to a church, a mosque, a synagogue, you turn on the news the first moment of the day and drown yourself in negative politicians' news, or Democrat or Republican or whatever your party is in whatever country you're from. You walk about your day surrounded by people who are just complaining and negative and always got drama going on in their lives, and they lean on you emotionally and mentally, and all you do is continue to allow for whatever the pastor said, whatever the imam said, whatever Fox News said, whatever Trump said, whatever Obama said, whatever the people at work are saying. I'm going to follow suit in that thought process. I'm going to allow society, culture, to mold my mind. Instead of you molding your own mind, you are a sheep. And you will go wherever they tell you to go. You will drink the water they give you to drink. You will eat the grass they tell you to eat. And as long as they don't slaughter too many of you in one shot, you will keep your head down just like sheep do, and keep eating and keep drinking and move wherever the shepherd moves you. You know, people like that remind me of the Battle of Thermopylae. If you don't know the Battle of Thermopylae, then that would, let me put it like this, the movie 300. Most people have seen the movie 300. That fight, that battle, is the Battle of Thermopylae, where Xerxes came with 1 million troops and 3,000 Greeks, because it originally was 1,000 Spartans and 2,000 other Greeks, Athenians, and whomever else. The 300 comes from when they all decided to pull back, 300 were left. These 3,000 were at the hot gates, a thin, narrow corridor. And 1 million troops could not overwhelm them because they were funneled in. You get that, right? Militarily, most people can understand that. You funnel in, lesser resources can win over a larger army. You get that. And yes, well, let me not go there yet. So in that battle, so if you think about this, those who sit into the church or watch the Fox News or the Democrats who put those labels on themselves, those who put labels on themselves like that and just follow suit with whatever they're being taught, those people are like the masses that are funneled in. Your mind, which is broad, your mind, which is powerful, your mind, which is expansive, your mind, which has infinite growth, your emotions that have the ability to move you to greater heights. You've been shrunken to only spew out just a little bit into these hot gates where they control you and they consume you constantly. It wasn't until Xerxes went by an old goat pass. There was only a few thousand Athenians defending it and easily overwhelmed them, and were able to come around the backside of those in the hot gates. Knowing this, 300 stayed to defend the hot gates while the others were allowed to retreat, to escape. And Xerxes utterly crushed the 300. Now, because his mother got sick, is it Xerxes' mother got sick? Yeah, Xerxes' mother got sick. He called off the battle and went back home to Persia, and then came back later. But the point here is this, and even in that comeback, that battle later, for those who are historically accurate about this, recognize the territory of the land is why the Greeks were able to defeat the Xerxes that second time. So the territory of your mind, you got to know the territory of your mind, is what I would say about the second battle. But as far as this one, you are funneled into this small information, this small-minded way of thinking. This small, Democrat or Republican, they're doing the same thing to you. You think that Republicans didn't have their hand in the incarceration, the high incarceration of black people, of melanated people? Of course the Republicans did. You think they're not part of the prison industrial complex? Of course they are. You think the Democrats aren't part of it? Of course the Clintons are. The Clintons are main proponents of it. And yet black people run around saying, oh, the Clintons, the Clintons, the Clintons, the Clintons. They used to, y'all used to run around, I'm saying y'all because I never said this crap. Y'all used to run around saying that Clinton is the first black president. That's what y'all used to say. Look it up. If I'm lying, I'm dying. But y'all used to say that until you got Obama. But this is the same president that put more black people in prison than any other president. Clinton. Democrat. But yet that label is chewing up your capacity for infinite growth. It's chewing it up. So how do we get out of this? Because if you stay a sheep, then you're going to be slaughtered. If you stay asleep, then they just going to keep you drugged up so that you just keep sleeping, keep sleeping, keep sleeping. Because as long as you're sleeping, you're living in a world that you think is real, that you believe is real, and it's not, and it doesn't move you. They're fine with you staying there. And as long as you're weak, because if all you can do is complain, you're weak. You have nothing but weakness. Now the worst is people who are all three. All you do is complain, blame it on somebody else. You believe that your false reality is a true reality, and you do absolutely nothing to change the matrix of your life, and you just follow along whatever you were raised to be, whatever you were taught to be, whatever your culture says. I'm a Southerner, I'm black, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm hetero, I'm bi, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. As long as you just keep following the labels, like I always say, the moment you label me, you negate me, because all I can do is live up to the label that you gave me. As long as I do that, as long as you're doing that, you deserve to be slaughtered. You deserve whatever treatment and life you receive. I was explaining to a young man 2 days ago that if you don't stop, that you have to start thinking for yourself. If you don't stop blaming other people and looking for everybody to bail you out, then the life that you get will be the life that society tells you you deserve. You will then complain about that, be unhappy about that, and you will blame the man and everybody else instead of looking in the mirror and realizing that you never thought for yourself. So the first thing you have to do is start thinking for yourself. Utilize the trivium. Facts put together into a thought process is understanding. That understanding put in practice to see what the results are is called wisdom. We can talk all day about the conspiracy theories of the Illuminati. Okay, start your own group. Start your neighborhood Illuminati. Get people in your neighborhood to come together and y'all buy. You ain't got to share resources first. Buy the hot property. If you rent in a neighborhood and the next door neighbor rents in a neighborhood and the other person rents in a neighborhood, hey, let's sit down and let's figure out how individually you can get your budget and your credit together. Let's find somebody we can pay to come in and teach us how to budget our money right, how to live on that budget, be accountability partners to each other, and then hey, in 1 year, 2 year, you go buy a house, I'm gonna buy a house, and you gonna buy a house, and maybe it's the same house in the neighborhood we in, or maybe we buy houses in a new neighborhood, and let's build that. Let's do that, or let's get together and let's start a business together. Let's do that. Or go start one for yourself with your children. Let's go do that. Let's get other people of like mind to come around us and do it. I'm not trying to force it, and I don't need the masses. The American Revolution started with a few people. Didn't need the masses to do it. Let's get those few, and let's go build a neighborhood. Let's go build a business together. Let's do this. Let's start our own Aluminized Group. you ain't gotta compete with the Illuminati today, but maybe in 100 years you're competing with them. Maybe in 100 years you're just as powerful. You got politicians, you got everybody else in your back pocket because of how you started. Maybe those who say that, hey, we're native to America, let's own America. Let's build business in America. Those who are Pan-African, well, let's do business with black companies and black countries in the Caribbean and Africa. Let's do business with them. Let's move. Pack your stuff and move. Let's go do that. Let's go truly be the mouthpiece that we're saying. Go do it instead of just go do it. And for those who are just following along with whatever the person says, analyze it. You were given a brain. Analyze it. Analyze the book, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah. Analyze the book. Analyze the history. Analyze the culture around it. Analyze whatever that person who is standing in front of you, analyze every word that they say and see, does it really apply? Are they speaking of it in a truthful manner? How does that actually work? Analyze it and then come to your own conclusion. Come to your own mindset. And although people will say, do not lean on your own understanding. Oh, who am I leaning on? I'm leaning on the understanding of this pastor. I'm leaning on the understanding of these people who wrote a book 1,000 years ago that I never met, that I don't know nothing about these people. I have no idea about them. I don't know their culture. I don't know their history. I don't know their politics. So, what I do know about man will write based on his culture, his politics, his own personal thought process. So what do I know about them? Why am I leaning on their understanding? This person says that they got this through an inspiration of God, not a dictation from God. There's a difference. Whether it's the Quran, I saw a meme the other day. It says that the Quran is truth, Allah is the truth, because Allah said so. Allah gave it to Muhammad because Muhammad said that it came from Allah. The Quran is the truth, and it's just a cycle, right? I'll try to find that, but it's just a cycle. So my thing is this: analyze it for yourself. Learn how to meditate the way that we did in the very beginning of the first part of this video, and then analyze it for yourself. See what downloads you get through you analyzing that information for yourself. Because I'm going to trust the God in me, the God Goddess in me, before I trust the God Goddess in somebody else. I'm going to trust the God Goddess in me before I trust a book that was written by a bunch of men sitting there figuring out that we can control the world through this religion without any armies. I'm going to figure that out first. Then a group of men who say that I'm trying to mobilize the Arab nation. So in order to do that, we've tried to do it through just straight war. How about if I put that it is through war and God that I am mobilizing the Arab nation and we conquer in the name of Allah? Let's put it on the coin, because that's what they did. That's what they did. So analyze it, analyze it, analyze it, analyze it. 1804 in a previous video. That's what happened. They analyzed it and they made changes. They created the slave Bible. They got rid of transatlantic slave trade. Why? Because they analyzed what had happened. Oh, these people was able to read this book and understand that those 3 Hebrew boys stayed to their God and they were saved. We don't want these slaves going back to their orishas. Let's change the way they think. And by changing the way they think, today, we are still oppressed, but we oppress ourselves the most. We oppress ourselves the most. Most of the time, it's not a white person that's going to murder you. It's a black person. It's not a white person going to steal from you. It's a black person. If you're white, you're going to be murdered by another white person, not a black person, because that's the way they've trained you. They've trained you to think that every black man is a murderer, a rapist, a killer, a thief, or something like that. I mean, that's the way you've been trained. So let's take those breaths. Let's take those moments. Let's figure these things out. So let's just do it 3 times. Squeeze that area, deep inhale, hold that breath, bring it up to your mind and release it. So squeeze it and let it go. Squeeze it, breathe in, hold it, coming up to your mind, 3rd eye, let it go. Squeeze it, hold it, let it go. You got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.